Welcome, welcome. I'm Lisa. Thanks for joining me here on the Whimsy Stamps YouTube channel. Today, I thought we would have a closer look at the Beaucoup Bouquet stamp set and sentiment set. Now, I've used the sentiment set on a few projects recently, and each time I do receive some questions on it. It seems you guys really like it, so I thought it would be fun to share it with the floral stamp set. Now, the sentiment set is great for thank you and encouragement cards. It includes a sentiment that reads, wishing you a day filled with beautiful things. And I think that would be great for Mother's Day, especially with that Beaucoup Bouquet stamp set. Now, I'm using a cold press 140-pound watercolor paper, also distress ink in the color Antique Linen. And I'm using my MISTI stamp positioning tool because I am stamping on watercolor paper and it has texture. I need to be sure that I can see the lines completely once they're stamped, and the MISTI allows me to restamp those images and not have to worry about lining things up. I know it's going to be lined up perfectly. It takes the guesswork out of it for me, and it just makes things easier. Now, the Antique Linen ink is perfect for no-line watercoloring. It's light. It seems to take on the color of whatever I'm laying down. Now, I wanted to avoid doing a lot of masking today, so I'm stamping the images with a bit of space between them, and any masking that I did do was done with just a piece of Post-it paper, as you saw there. I do have a color guide at the end of the video for you. If you want to grab that, you can do a screenshot. Now, I'm going to go ahead and get started coloring the images. Now, you need to remember this is only my second time doing this technique. I'm laying down mustard first in the very center of this flower, and then I'm going to use yellow to blend out a little bit and my blender pen on that as well. I do want to talk some about a few things I figured out already, and I want to talk about the pens and that blender pen. So you see, I left the yellow and I've gone over to start on the pink flower. And the reason for that is I have already learned that dry time is very important when you're using these pens. I need to let that yellow ink dry some, and then I'll go back in and continue to color around it. You'll notice that I jump from one side of a flower to the next if they have individual petals, and that's so it has that dry time. Here I came in with pale rose and pale pink and the blender pen and just colored that first rose in. Now I'm coming in with a platinum brown and a gray tint. I had an idea that this flower would look like it's a white with some gray shadows on it. It did not play out that way. I went over it with a yellow, pale yellow pen and said, you know what? It's okay. We're going to use it. And that's just how it happens sometimes. So I continue to color the flowers. I'm going to finish those off screen because the technique is the same. On this panel, I use the dark tone and then go to mid-tone and then use my blender pen to kind of blend those out to the edge of each petal. I do want to talk to you about the Zig pens for just a second. I love the quality of the brush. The tip is so fine. It makes it so easy to do some detail work like you see me doing here. And I also want to talk to you about laying down different colors together. So I'm using olive green, mid green, Persian green, which is actually a turquoise color. And then I also use a light green on these leaves, and it makes it so beautiful. It gives it such interest to each leaf with those different colors laid down. And then I just use my blender pen to blend those out to the tips of the leaves, and I'm cleaning my blender pen off in between each time. And I just wipe it on a wet paper towel to clean it off. Someone asked, do they need a blender pen for each family color? And I'm like, no, you only need one blender pen. Just wipe it off in between using it. Okay, so why did I buy the blender pen? Because I've tried these pens with a water brush and I wasn't happy with the results that I was getting. And the problem for me with a water brush is I have no control with it. It's either giving me so much water coming out and I'm not even squeezing the barrel, or when I squeeze the barrel, I'm not getting water flow at all. So the problem for me was that I have yet to find a quality water brush that gives me any kind of control or consistent control, I guess. If you have a favorite water brush that you absolutely love, let me know in the comments below. I want to check it out. I am in the market for a high quality water brush to use with these pens. If you struggle with a water brush like I do, you might want to give the blender pen a try. Like I said, it's completely changed the way I look at these pens. So I went ahead and finished coloring everything. I'm going to go ahead, run this through the die cut machine in my Whimsy Stamps Wonky Stitched Nesting Dies. I'm going to stamp the sentiment directly over the colored image with VersaFine Onyx Black ink, and I'm going to adhere it to an A2 black card base. Real quick, I want to talk to you about the ink that you use to stamp over a watercolored image. You want something that's not going to bleed when you stamp it. So I use VersaFine or VersaFine Clair. The only difference in the two is they tweaked the formula of the VersaFine just a little bit so that they could get some brighter colors, and that's where the VersaFine Clair line came in. So the VersaFine inks are an oil-based ink, and as we all know, oil and water don't mix. So these are perfect for stamping directly over a watercolored image. I did let that panel dry for just a few minutes and then I stamped over it. So it was still damp, but it wasn't soaking wet, just so you know that. I am going to come in with a Copic multi-liner pen and add some real fine black dots in between my flowers. And I'm going to do some larger gold dots with my Jelly Roll pen. And then I finish this completely off with some black gem stickers. So that's going to wrap this video up. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Also, don't forget, let me know what your favorite water brush is. For more information on the products I used, check the description box directly below. Product links are listed there for you. As always, know how much I appreciate the time you spent with me today. And until next time, take care.